If your CasioTone keyboard features a tuning control, tune A to this pitch. In Volume 1 of this video lesson, we learned the basics of music and 3 simple keyboard pieces. In Volume 2, we'll take your musical skills a step further. Hi! You made good progress in the first half of our lesson, learning how to combine melodies, Casio chord accompaniment, and rhythm to make beautiful music. In this half of our lesson, we'll challenge some even more difficult pieces, giving you more and more confidence in your musical abilities. Step 5. Cielito lindo. The piece you just listened to is called Cielito Lindo. It's the next piece we're going to learn to play. It's a little bit longer than those we've learned up to now, but an experienced player like you won't have any difficulty in remembering it. The chords and the melody are very simple to follow. Let's begin by practicing the melody, but before we do that, there are a few points I'd like to mention. First, some of the basics. Look at the score for this piece. You'll notice that there are bowed lines which cross the measure lines, connecting some notes. These lines are called ties. When 2 notes are connected with a tie, you play them as if they were one note. In other words, a single note is sustained for the combined length of the notes connected by the tie. This symbol is known as a quarter rest. It indicates that you should rest, or not play any note, for a single beat. Okay, now let's begin practicing the melody. Select the vibraphone tone on your keyboard. Ready? We'll start with the first 8 measures. In the last three measures, you'll notice that you don't have enough fingers to reach the F and D keys. So you'll have to cross finger 3 over the top of finger 1, like this. Not too difficult, is it? All right, go ahead and practice the first part of this melody. Stop the video at this point and practice until you've mastered the first 8 measures. Now let's go on to the next 8 measures. Stop the video at this point and practice until you've mastered the next 8 measures. By now, you should have mastered the first 16 measures of this piece. Let's try playing them together. Are you ready? 1, 2, and... Practice this part as many times as possible. Once you've truly mastered it, you can proceed with the rest of this lesson. Next, we'll learn the second 16 measures. First, some of the basics. This is the score for the last 16 measures we just practiced. Notice that there are symbols at the beginning and end of this section of the score. These are called repeats. They indicate that you should repeat the passage between the marks one time. In this piece, the marks indicate that you should repeat this section after you reach the end of the piece. Easy enough, isn't it? Fine. Now let's play the melody for this section once again, this time inserting the repeats. I'll play the Casio chord accompaniment, and you play the melody. Are you ready? 1, 2, and... How did you do? Were you able to play the melody? Great. Now let's learn the chords. There are 3 chords in this melody: C, F, and G7. You already know all 3 of these chords, so I'll play the melody in rhythm. You add the Casio chord accompaniment. Are you ready? 1, 2, and... this point and practice until you've mastered the Casio chord accompaniment. Now that you've mastered the chords, let's add the finishing touch, the rhythm. Set the CasioTone waltz rhythm. The tempo should be okay as it is, so press the synchro fill-in key and we'll be ready to go. Oh, and don't forget to press the intro ending key right after you've played the last C chord. This adds a smooth, professional touch to the end of your piece. I'll play the whole piece through once, so listen carefully. After I've finished, then you can challenge the full piece, all by yourself. Step 6, Jamaica Farewell. The piece you just heard is a Latin American piece called Jamaica Farewell. It has a nice tropical feel, don't you think? First, some of the basics. Here's the score for Jamaica Farewell. Notice that there's a symbol that looks something like a small B next to the clef sign. This is called a flat. You can see that in this score, the flat is positioned over the third staff line in the treble clef, or the B note. This means that you play the black key just to the left of B on the keyboard. Sometimes a flat mark appears next to only a single note, but when it appears like this, at the beginning of the piece, you should play B flat each time a B appears in the music, no matter what octave it's in. And although they don't appear in this score, there are sharp and natural symbols, which are used like the flat symbol. The sharp is the exact opposite of the flat, so when a sharp symbol appears, you play the key which is directly to the right of the note marked in the music. Sharp symbols, too, appear sometimes next to only a single note, and sometimes they appear at the beginning of the piece. For example, if the sharp symbol appears on the F line at the beginning of the score, An F sharp should be played each time F appears in the music. The natural symbol is used to change sharps or flats back to their natural note during the middle of a piece. That's not so difficult, is it? Okay, let's play the melody of this song while making sure to play the B flat. A piano tone will sound best for this song, so select the piano tone on your CasioTone keyboard. Here's the first 4 measures. Study them carefully. Notice that the song begins with a 1-beat rest, so we'll have to start out counting 1, 2, 3, and 1 before actually beginning to play. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, and 1. Notice that your hand position changes in the 3rd measure, so study this carefully to make sure that you're using the correct fingering. Stop the tape at this point and practice the first 4 measures. You should have mastered the first 4 measures, so let's go on to the next 4. Measures 2 through 7 are the same as the first 3, only the last measure is a little bit different. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, and 1. Stop the tape at this point and practice the next 4 measures. And now for the last half of the melody. We'll start with the first 4 measures of the second half. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and 1. Stop the tape at this point and practice the next 4 measures. And now you're ready to learn the last 4 measures of this song. Feel the rhythm in the phrases where the same note is repeated. 1, 2, 3, and. Stop the tape here and practice the last 4 measures. Now, are you ready to see how it sounds with some accompaniment? I'll play the Casio chord accompaniment and you play along playing the melody. 1, 2, 3, and 1. Sounds great, doesn't it? Now, it's your turn to learn the Casio chord accompaniment. There are 4 chords in this song. The first chord is F, followed by B flat, then G minor, and C7. You already know F, don't you? B flat is just to the left of B, right here. G minor is a minor chord, so you'll have to play G and the key right next to it, using 2 fingers. C7 is a 7th chord, so you play C and the 2 keys to the right of it, using 3 fingers. Okay, I'll play the melody and rhythm, and you back me up with Casio chord accompaniment. Be sure to watch the score carefully, making sure your timing is correct. Once you've got the chords down, rewind the tape and try putting both the melody and the Casio chord accompaniment together. Stop the video at this point and practice until you've mastered the melody and the accompaniment. Congratulations! You've added yet another song to your repertoire. Now, let's finish it off with the auto rhythm track. Select the Bossa Nova rhythm and push the tempo down key 3 times. Okay, I'll play the piece first. You just listen. When I've finished, it's your turn to perform. Step 7. Theme from a Beethoven piano sonata. You've learned 5 different songs already, so you're truly becoming an accomplished CasioTone performer. To conclude our lesson, we'll learn one more song, this one a beautiful classical melody. It's taken from a Beethoven piano sonata. You've probably heard this melody before, haven't you? First of all, I'll play it all the way through, so listen carefully. It's truly a beautiful, emotional piece of music, don't you think? Let's begin learning the melody. We'll start out with the piano tone, and then, at the 8th measure, we'll switch to jazz organ. Notice the change in mood? The melody is quite simple, so I'll play all 18 measures together. Watch carefully. Stop the video at this point and practice until you've mastered the melody. That wasn't difficult, was it? Good. Next, we'll work on the chords. In comparison with the songs we already learned, this piece features many chords. You're already familiar with F, C, C7, and G minor chords, so we'll skip them. To play A minor, you play both the A key and the key to its right, like this. D minor is like this. B flat minor is like this. And D7 like this. Next is G minor 7. To play a minor 7th chord, you must play the tonic, G in this case, and the 3 keys to its right, using 4 fingers, like this. A minor 7th is played like this. Make sure you hold all 4 fingers down. If even 1 finger slips, the chord structure will change, and the resulting chord won't match your melody. Okay, let's practice the chords. Fine. Next, let's add the rhythm. Select Slow Rock 2 on your keyboard. The tempo's probably a little bit too fast, so press the tempo down key 10 times. At the beginning of the last measure, be sure to press the intro ending key to add a smooth ending to the rhythm track. Okay, I'll play this song all the way through, so you practice until you've mastered this one too. This brings us to the end of our video lesson. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. You've really come a long way, but don't stop here. Challenge as many new pieces as possible, and your skills will continue to improve. Remember, practice makes perfect. Now you too have learned the joys of musical performance. Modern songs, classical songs. You can play any type of music you like. You'll enjoy all your favorite music even more when you learn to play it yourself on a CasioTone keyboard. Add even more fun to your CasioTone home concerts with other exciting Casio musical instruments. Wail away on the DH200 digital horn with 6 preset tones and a built-in speaker. Or how about the DG1 digital guitar with 12 preset tones that produces the tunes you play in a variety of instruments, from trumpet to organ.